Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. Like I mentioned in my last video, I'm trying to do two, maybe three a day to get caught up. I had some phone issues and then just life is busy. And part of my life, as some of you may or may not know, is being a paraprofessional in a school with at-risk kids. We have about 100 kids in our school. They age and range. They range in age from anywhere from 6 to 18. Um, our school, if you succeed at our school, you get out and go to a regular school, a public high school or middle school or elementary, depending what age you are, of course. If you don't do well in our school, you're on your way to the streets or prison, honestly. You're going to be there are higher, how do I want to put it? Uh, Higher security facilities than us, but we have locks on every door except for the bathrooms, which seems weird. Um, we have security guards. We have the police pretty much on speed dial. I guess 911 is speed dial, but we see the police at least once a week. Um, our kids have issues, big issues. And the kids I work with um, are on the autism spectrum. So a lot of the kids I work with are very sweet, just kids that have done things not necessarily violent, but like got naked at school many times. And they're like, we can't handle this kid. We got to have him in an environment that's a little more shut down and a little more structured. And so I have kids like that, kids that um, are typically on the autism spectrum. I have other kids that are not, and they're can be very violent. And so this isn't much. I want to show you. You can't really see. It's mostly the bruise. The Band-Aid is covering a bite mark. So the little tooth marks there. Why not? Let's take a look. It's not horrible. And there's a little bite there. And then this kid has weird teeth apparently, because I don't know how they made a triangle, but I got lucky. Didn't break the skin. This happened back on Wednesday. Today is Sunday morning. It's been about 3.5 days. Generally a fast healer. Always have been. I'm very fortunate. So here's what happened. Um, and a little more background on the job. I work. Um, I started off with the middle schoolers. Um, I did okay, and I really didn't understand the parameters of the job, how on point I have to be, how much computer work I had to do. In the past, I've worked 8.5 years in public schools, once in 5.5 years in elementary, 3 years in a high school. And so when I came here to the place, it's called Sebeski Academy. I have no problem saying that. Go Salamanders. But when I came here, I mainly did it because I wanted to be close to where I work. I live close to where I work. I started out in Aurora because I lived in Aurora, in Cherry Creek District, but Aurora proper, which is took me about 35 minutes, 40 minutes to get to work, often an hour coming back because we hit rush hour. But the reason the 3 years I did high school was because my kid Logan went there. And so we carpooled, we went to school together, and it was good. It's a good way to bond with your kid is by spending about an hour and a half total each day with the kid, if they want to communicate with you. Luckily, I got a kid that generally does. And then, and I like the school. I like the work. I generally like my team. But once Logan graduated, I was on my way out. Logan graduated early. Logan graduated in December of 2023. Excuse me, December of 2022 is a 2023 grad. I finished out the year, and my last day there was May 25th of 2023. And then I subsequently got a job here at Sebeski and started in August. Like I said, this job is way more involved than my first 8.5 years. I rarely had to do any computer work or any reports of any kind. I may maybe get called by a lead teacher to talk about a kid, to give information about an IEP, which is an individualized education program. Every special needs kid has one. Hell, my Logan had one. Logan had some issues with OCD and anxiety disorder early on, so Logan had an IEP for a while. It's just accommodations in the classroom they have for kids that have issues. There's a form called a 504, which is like IEP light. You don't need as many accommodations, and we're trying to get these kids off of these accommodations as possible, because in many places on this planet, on the streets, in most workplaces, you're not going to get those accommodations. So we're trying to get these kids to a place where they can function independently and like the rest of us have to. So having said that, Sebeski started out in the middle school world. did okay there. There are very many of my coworkers in that room are kind of abrasive, and frankly, they're called RBTs, which are registered behavior technicians. They've done a 1 week course. They have some other experience, and unfortunately, a lot of them think they know everything. They didn't. They often and still don't often respect my experience of 9 years working in ASD classrooms from every kid, and even with adults for a few months. I've worked with people with developmental disabilities from ages 5 to 23, and I've succeeded with them because I've learned methods. I'm a parent of a kid that turns 26 next month that has autism, pretty severe autism, and so I have that experience too. And so enough disrespect happened over that first semester that I was lucky enough to go to the other classroom with the high schoolers. And we also absorbed 3 kids. We call them the three amigos. They're middle school kids, 2 8th graders and a 7th grader, but they are high flyers. They've been in fights. They pick on the other kids with lesser, I don't like to say lesser, but that are more classically autistic and have the issues that go with autism, including the learning disabilities. These kids are a little smarter, they're a little more savvy, and they're very mature, often sexually and in other ways. And so we're dealing with these kids, but we lump them into the high school room, which made a lot of sense because they can be among their peers in some ways, but also have different expectations. And I was happy to go to that room, not only because of often the disrespect I received in the middle school room, but also because I've worked with high schoolers the last 3 years. So a nice transition. I love the teacher. I love the other para in there. We don't have any RBTs. Like RBTs are in the middle school room, and the paras, which is a different ballgame. We get paid a lot less than RBTs because it's a contracted job. It's bullshit. I get about anywhere from $5 to $10 an hour less. I'm not sure the exact amount because they don't want to tell me because it probably pissed me off. Anyway, so so there's going into what happened with this bite. It's the end of the day. It's Wednesday. This kid has already gone after our lead teacher, hit her. She was fine. I didn't know about this until after my incident happened. So near the end of the day, one of the RBTs from the other room has brought one of our high flyers, our 8th grader in there. Because we're mixing with the kids all the time. It's not segmented that much. We're in separate classrooms, but we deal with each other's kids all the time. It's good. It's flexibilities for us and the kids. So she's in there talking to this kid. And he's kind of doing his thing. Teachers don't care about us, and you guys stink, and all that stupid stuff. We hear horrible things every day, by the way, in this place. It's almost a prison. It really is. It's school meets prison. Like I said, you go here or you go here. So you got to make the choices, kids. We'll do our best for you. That's all we can do. And having said that, I also love these people. You have to have a special type of skill set and patience to do this job. I found it, and it took me an entire semester to see if I had it or not. And it's also, I've noticed it's almost like an initiation period where they are like, is he going to bail or is he going to stay? And so they don't really get too close to you, and they don't seem to like you at first. But then once you've made it past that first semester, like when I came back last week, they were like, oh, he's for real. He's in. He gives a shit. And then all of a sudden you're like part of the family. And which is, I get it, because people go in there for a week, go, holy fuck, this is insane, and they leave. I don't fear kids. I try to get along with them, actually get to know them, build rapport, and teach and learn from them, and they learn from me, hopefully, and then they do their academics. That's my goal. Those are my methods. So this female, by the way, I'm the only I don't like to say this, but I'm the only non-trans male out of my entire group. We have out of a staff of 7 or 8, I'm the only classic male. We have one trans male that was female and is becoming male, is still working on all that. But yeah, I'm the only born male in there. And so sometimes I man up for stuff. So this woman, coworker, was talking to this kid. He started talking a little shit. This other kid came in after being counseled for a while because he had a rough day. He'd been rude to me, rude to everybody. He says really horrible sexual things and violent sexual things. But we thought it was the end of the day. Counselor brought him in. Saw that these two were going back and forth. They're tight, these two kids. They're like, say, 2 of the 3 amigos. And he just starts butting in on the conversation. Why are you bugging? I can't say his name. Why are you bugging him? And I almost said it. And she's like, this is between me and him. Don't worry about it. And all of a sudden he just goes, I'm going to rape fucking kill you. And I don't take that shit lightly. And so I got up and I just said, cool it. and he came right after me. He threw a punch. I got my arm up just in time, kind of grazed my head. Probably hurt his hand more than he hurt my head because I didn't feel it. But then he went in for the bite, which was weird. And I think he took the momentum from the punch he was throwing and then just went after my upper arm. Of course, I had a shirt on, so he clamped down really good, and then I just had to shove his face away slowly and push him away, and then he took off. A lot of adrenaline, a little shaky after it for about 5 to 10 minutes. Rarely been bit by a human, so that was weird. Luckily, they told me I technically should go to the hospital. I said, didn't break the skin, I'm going to take care of it. And so far, it's fine. It doesn't appear infected. And luckily, the school district does take care of you, even if you refuse service at first. If you report it, they're still going to be like, okay, well, we'd prefer you go in now, but if you don't and things get worse, just go in and the district will cover it. So there's a day in the life at Sobeski. It's not always bad. I wouldn't be there if it was always bad. There are times you connect with these kids, you have a learning experience, and like I said, the learning experience doesn't have to be academic, as long as it's, hey, this is what life is like, and this is what life is going to be like. And that's part of the rapport I build with kids. I don't treat them as babies. I don't baby talk them. And I even said this on my interview. I teach the way I parent. I love, but I'm fucking hard on them. Maybe not hard on them, but I have expectations and demands. Here you are, a young male, female, whatever you have. We have a couple trans kids in our in our midst. A couple of our high schoolers are trans. One's going one way, one is going the other way. Great kids. But when it comes to teaching, I'm like, hey, here is our expectations. You are a young man / young woman / young they. You are on your way now. You're a young adult, right? You're not a kid. You're middle school or high school. You're on your way to being an adult. Here are the expectations of when you're a grown-ass adult. Here are the expectations now. This school is built for learning, and that's what we're trying to do here. That's a lot. I know I went a little over, but I could go on and on about this place. I probably will once in a while give you guys updates of what's going on at the place where I work. Like I say, it's very difficult, high risk, high difficulty, high reward, and wonderful, wonderful people that I work with. I'm very fortunate to work with people that care. I've never seen the caring of this level. You have to. You absolutely have to even show up. You have to care a lot about these kids. They were failed somewhere along the line, and we're here to try to help them out. Anyway, that's almost closing in on 13 minutes. Thank you once again for checking out this channel, for checking out these videos. They're unscripted. They're unedited. Frankly, they're not that great, but I'm glad you guys enjoy them and maybe get something out of them. I will end this one. I believe this is episode 8. I'll probably make a bunch the next few days to try to get caught up. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.